So today we're talking about the 5 books that I recommend for all new witches. Hello my little wonderbugs, welcome to my channel. My name is Maria Isul and I am a witch and professional tarot card reader. Today we're going to be talking about 5 books that I recommend for all the starting witches out there. Now these books are not like the end all be all of beginners books for witches. They're just the ones that I started off with and that really helped me go from baby witch to where I am right now. They basically helped me along the way, and obviously I have moved on from these books, but if it wasn't for them, I would not be as knowledgeable as I am right now and have moved on to other bigger knowledges and practices and all that jazz. So the first book that I'm going to recommend is a really old book. I got it when I was, I think, 19, and it came out in 1998. So I kind of got it soon after. I'm not going to say how soon after because it'll show how old I am. As far as you guys know, I'm really young. But the book is Scott Cunningham's Wicca, A Guide to a Soul Practitioner. I really recommend it, and as you can see, it is worn. It is really worn. Like, holy crap. I've had this book for, oh God, for years. And I recommend it because it's basic Wicca. It's basic witchcraft. It really, I mean, if you're not into Wicca, that's fine, but you still have some very good information here that any witch should know and should practice. Okay, so it doesn't even matter if you're not a Wiccan, if you don't follow the Wiccan Read, that's perfectly fine. I'm not a Wiccan anymore. I used to be one, and I still use this as reference for certain things. A lot of the practices in here are still part of my practice. So I do recommend it for those purposes. And it's really like a jumping point because you learn the basics of the witch's tools. You learn the basics. You just learn the basics. You do learn about the Wiccan Read and all that stuff, but you don't have to, or if you don't like it, if it's not your thing, if it's not Wicca, don't worry about it. You don't have to stay that way if you don't want it. But it does give you the basics, the general basics of witchcraft and Wicca and whatnot. So I recommend it for a starting point, for a jumping point into other traditions and other practices. The second book that I recommend for all of you guys that are starting off, which is a very good book to start off if you're doing the first book that I recommended, and that is Scott Cunningham's Living Wicca. Now, again, Maria, I don't want to be a Wiccan, but I want to be a witch. That's great. Don't worry about it. In this book, he doesn't talk necessarily about Wicca. He talks about the practices. So it basically helps you create a book of shadows if you want a book of shadows. He tells you like the traditions of what would be in a book of shadows, how to create spells, how to connect with whatever it is that you may believe in. So for instance, I'm really connected to Freya and Freyr. Those are my patron god and goddesses. That's what I veer towards, more towards the Norse side of things. But this book really helped me sort of understand and how to connect to them because of the fact that it gave me sort of like the bones of how to be a pagan, how to practice, how to write spells, how to just about anything. He goes into how to connect with the nature and whatnot, but not in a basic way, not in a, oh, if you're more into Celtic magic, this is how you're supposed to do it. Like, it's not like that. It's sort of like, this is how it works universally. So then from there you can pick, well, I want to do, like, for instance, me, I wanted to go into more to the Norse society and the Norse traditions. So I took what I learned here and then I just integrated it through there, and I was able to understand it better and be able to grow in my own practice how I was doing it through this. And I'm trying not to show you the glare of my ring light here, so that's why you're seeing it like this and not like this, okay? Just saying. Now, book number 3 I know you're going to think, Maria, why are we still in the fluffy bunny section? You're a baby witch. Relax, relax. You got to start off somewhere. And that is witches school. Now, this is the first degree book. I have the other two, like the second and the third degree book here. Now, the reason I recommend this is because you've already read the other two books, right? You have a basic idea, but you want more. You want more of a depth, a meaning to certain things. More spiritual and yet witchy and whatnot. And this is your guide. This has a lot of esoteric stuff, deep stuff that you can't really find in bookstores. And what you do find in bookstores, there are like these gargantuan books that you're just like, I don't have time to read that. And this gives you, each chapter, you have like something like that. And it's put in layman's term. It's just like, look, this is how it works. Here you go. So you don't have to go through like the whole like 5 years of studying this one particular thing about witchcraft. And now I'm in a master. No, it's like you've got it all here. And the other two books that you can do, that you can upgrade to if you feel comfortable. But this one's actually pretty good. It gives you a general idea of everything that's witchcraft. So it's kind of like, how can I put it? It's like a cookie jar, you know? You could take one cookie out of each cookie jar and decide which cookie you want to eat the most. So it gives you a little bit of variety on different esoteric practices and whatnot, and just gives you a good knowledge, because, you know, being a witch, you should have general knowledge of a little bit of everything. And a little disclaimer, the books are related to a particular tradition, but you don't have to follow that tradition. I bought the books because I liked them. I found a lot of information in there that I couldn't find in other books, like I was saying, or it would take too long to read all the books. These, I just read the 3 and I got all the information that I needed. I did not join their coven or their tradition or anything in that nature, but I did get a lot of knowledge of metaphysics and esoteric and everything in the freaking universe that I really was curious about, but I never really could find because it just took so long. Now, the 4th book is a very simple book, I would say, and that is Everyday Magic. Now, this book really helped me with understanding and coming up with some really cool spells. It has basically an encyclopedia of spells. Let me see if I could get to it. But basically, it's like everything you could think of. Everything you could think of spells that you'd like. Without it being too over the top. And you can mix and match. I mean, I didn't really keep to a lot of what it says, but I got a lot of ideas from it, and it showed me structure on how to do spells. And if I just didn't come up with anything, I couldn't think of how to do one spell, I'd just be like, oh, okay, herbal wine love spell. Ooh, let me see. Oh, I have that. Yeah, let me do that. You know, it's very simple. It's good in a pinch. And no, this is not the cover. I bought this secondhand, and the person that had it before did this to it. They like scotch taped everything with like electrical tape. Now, if that doesn't sound like the type of spell book that you'd like, then buy a spell book related to what you want to do magic about. So, for instance, I like Norse magic. I've got a lot of books about Norse magic. Now, if you have a particular type of magic that you want to practice, then by all means, practice that type of magic and buy that kind of book. But if you're still starting off and you're not quite sure if you're going to be like, you know, all into hoodoo, or if you want to do like Golden type magic, or if you're really into, I can't even think of anything right now, but a particular type of genre of magic, I guess you could say, then by all means, buy a book about that. But if you're still sort of like figuring it out, you're not sure, then buy something like this book, or something simple, something small that you can easily move forward in your magical practice. And then maybe you could find out, you know, where you're better at. You know, some people are better at candle magic. Some people are better at sympathetic magic. It's really up to you what you like. Last but not least, we've got Scott Cunningham's complete book of incense, oils, and brews. Now, this book saves my ass. As you can see, I use it quite a bit. You can see the warmth and like how worn it is and whatnot. I use it a lot. The reason I use it a lot is because when I do candle magic, I use a lot of the ingredients here for the incense as the herbs that I put in my candles. So it's pretty damn good, especially if you want to start doing things like bath salts, oils and whatnot. And he doesn't just give you the recipes, he also gives you the how to do. If you don't have one particular ingredient, he tells you what are the best ingredients to use as replacements. Also, he gives you a shopping list of, look, these are the ingredients that you should have at all times to make just about anything you want that is in here. He even has flying witch ointment that is a little bit scary because it has some poisonous ingredients. So yeah, he gives you a little warning going like, do not add this because you might get hurt. But at least he shows it to you. So, you know, it's to your discretion. I highly recommend it, especially if you're a kitchen witch and you like brewing incenses and doing powders and all that cool stuff. Definitely the book for you. Okay guys, I hope that you enjoyed the books that I recommended for beginners in witchcraft. Now, remember guys, these are not the end-all be-alls of like beginner books. These are just the books that I started off with, that I recommend, that really can help you get from point A to point B, and especially when it comes to just the basic knowledges of witchcraft in general. If you guys are experienced witches or not, what are the books that you have been reading and or favorite books of witchcraft that really inspired you to become a witch and really helped you along the way? Also guys, follow me on Instagram and on Facebook because there I actually update you guys on everything that's happening on this channel or anything on my website. So if there's something new or a questionnaire or something that I want to know about you guys, or you guys have a request for a particular type of video that you guys want me to do, that is the place to go. Other than that guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and much love and blessings.